Well, it is a human condition that when we feel miserable, we find someone to blame. For most of us, we just ignore the mirror and looks elsewhere because, let's face it, this is life, right? And those on the big screen who usually bring us a lot of happiness, this time become the salient target. Now, Buckeyes recently lost a terrible game to the team up north. And, you know, but why is that so miserable? It's because as a Buckeyes, you can't just lose those to those cheaters, right? Because they cheated the last 3 years. Depends on your viewpoint. Either it's 3 or 2, but you can't lose this year. Especially consider the team you have, the team they have. So you can't lose to them again. And yet they did, but they didn't cheat this time. So it's hard to blame the opponent for this defeat. Now, who do we blame then? Of course, we are not going to look into the mirror, so we can blame whoever we can find. We can blame the coach, the player, the quarterback, the weather, the field condition, the media, and even other fans, right? And the recent favorite of on the blame list is culture. We blame culture. But anyway, whatever that means, right? But why the game have such a huge impact on our lives, on our emotional state? Well, it's because as human beings, we have an understanding of how a just world works. And when things unexpected happens, we demand explanations. So in this one, I try to ease our pain because in the ideal world, cheaters should suffer, the good guys should come on top, and better teams should be victorious. But as you can see from this year's college football as a whole, it's not always the case. So we still want to answer there, right? So what really happened in this game? And I created this video to try to possibly ease the pain of my fellow Buckeyes and maybe bring some lucidity to this. I offer my 2 cents in this video, and I'll talk about briefly what happened, what I thought happened, and why that happened, and where do we go from now. So just bear with me. Let me share the window. Now, there are a few things I'll talk about. Like I said, I'll talk about what happened and try to explain why. You got to understand a little bit about my background. I have a strong psychology and management background, and I do coaching as well. And I play sports, but I play badminton. I don't really play football, but I have been watching football for years, for decades. So I have some understanding of that, but I don't pretend to be an insider or a technician or even a football coach. So, but just listen to me, see if what I say makes any sense. And after that, I will try to explain the future. Nobody can predict the future. It's my take on that. It will be limited, but we'll see. So the first thing is what happened. Well, this is what happened. The Buckeyes played a miserable game and lost the game 10-13 to Michigan. And you can see the Buckeyes has 16 first downs, so it's better than 13 ones that Michigan had. So eventually, from the data you can see, for one, Michigan is as terrible as we thought they are this year. Okay? And the second one is Ohio State's, especially the offense, is not as good as we thought they were, or at least didn't perform as good as we thought they were. If you watch the game, you know that Michigan's 13 points, actually 10 of them were basically gifts from the Buckeyes, especially the first touchdown. That was Howard's first interception. But what appalls a lot of people is the Buckeyes couldn't really move the ball on the ground and couldn't score. And those star wide receivers didn't contribute either. So this is basically what happened. And later I will try to explain how that happened. So basically, the offense sucked. And this is the passing stats for Howard. That's the worst game of his life, basically. And the rushing is also terrible for Quinton Judkins and the Trevion Henderson. And then the defense played really well, but not well enough. I still would say the defense is championship level defense, but it's not really, because I know I'm nitpicking here, but at the critical point in the fourth quarter, they didn't really stop. You can see in the data, there was no sacks and only 3 tackle for losses. And another one did a performance is the special teams, right? They missed the 2 field goals. If they made these 2 field goals, the score would be 16-13. But all of these are basically what happened. I want to clarify that I'm not trying to blame anyone here. I'm not even blaming the coach for a plan, the game plan, or the players. But in the end of the day, the game is planned by the coaches, called by the coaches, and played by the players. So those are the people who ultimately executed the game and ultimately will take responsibility for the game. They will suffer the most than any fans would ever could. So what exactly happened? I told you I'm not a coach, but I direct you to some other things. For example, say urban analysis. And urban would tell you how their defensive line dominated the game and thwarted the Buckeyes' run game, and that basically dictated the game. So, but that's not what I want to talk about. And what I really want to talk about is why. Why did that happen? I want to talk about it from a psychology perspective, from a management perspective. The first thing I want to talk about is motivation versus distraction. The Buckeyes were motivated. Almost everybody, including myself, thought this is the most talented roster in Buckeyes history. They talk about $20 million, all these things. But the truth is, this team is filled with playmakers and great talents. So, and also the team is super motivated, and they want to get the goals. They want to beat the team up north, and they want to go to win the Big Ten championship and win the national championship. And they even say themselves, either it's national championship or bust. That is a dangerous thing to say. Okay, and I will talk a little bit more about that later. But the thing is, motivation is fine, but at one point it becomes distraction. I became uneasy the week leading up to the game when I saw a couple of things. One is Ryan Day's interview. He talked about how much the game impacted him emotionally and how miserable he was after the loss. I thought, why you talk about that before the game? Talk about it after you win. Don't talk about it. They just say, we are focusing on winning the game. Just, be boring. Really, be boring. This is before the game. And another one is Will Howard. Will Howard had like an hour long, more than an hour long interview with some guy. I forgot about the interviewer's name. Talk about his journey. Your journey is not done yet. You just you have big games coming up. Why you do that? I don't know when it was done. Maybe it was more than 1 week before the game, but still, your journey is not done yet. Okay, hold your trophy and tell your story. Don't do it beforehand, because at this point, those things become a distraction. You can say all the right things. You can say, "Oh, I play for my brothers, for all the seniors. I want to bring them the gold pens, the victory, and get rid of the misery for my coach." All these things, they are distractions. Just shut up and say, "I need to work on my, on my technique, to on my craft, to beat the team, to get better prepared." So that's not motivation, that's distraction. And the other one I want to focus on is, there's if you read any of those self-help books or something like that in the past 30, 40, 50, half a century, you see a lot of people talk about goals. You got to have goals in life. You got to have goals. And sure, they had goals. Their goals were winning national championship, beat the team, and all these things. But those aren't goals. Goals are fine, but they are not execution. Goals are fun to talk about it after you achieve them, but it totally does a disservice before you perform. Because think about it, when you are in the game, you think about, "Oh, we are terrible. We are on our own 5-yard line. How can we move 10 yards? And their defense seems to be suffocating. Do I take a risk? What do I do? And I want to achieve, I want to win." And those things are distractions, not execution. So this is a huge one there. I hate when people talk about the championship or bust or something. Yeah, as a fan, you can talk about it, but as the players, as the coaches, I hate that. I literally hate that. And the other one is, if you don't know about that yet, I've been doing coaching, and I mean personal coach, and consulting all these all these years. I'm telling you here, expectation is the evil of life. What do I mean by that? Expectation is about how good you are. You think you are good, you're going to achieve good things in life. Too bad. Life doesn't work that way. Life only is built on what you did, not how good you are, not how good you think you are. So we all know this team is loaded, but it doesn't mean a shit. Sorry about the language. It doesn't mean squat. And you think about, the team went to Eugene, Oregon, and lost the game to Oregon Ducks. At the point, I thought it was the best thing that could happen to the game. It would humble the game, humble the team. However, I was so wrong, because somehow that loss became a win. Buckeyes were ranked number 2 in the country. And a lot of people talk about it. If there were like 5 more seconds, Buckeyes would win. And if anything else happened in that game, Buckeyes would win. So Buckeyes went to a hostile environment across the country and still just managed to lose by only 1 point. And then after that, they beat Penn State, and they beat Indiana. And somehow they become, I guess, in a way, a lot of people's mind, Buckeyes are even a better team than Oregon. You think about, you see all those Vegas odds there. People are betting that Buckeyes would win the Big Ten championship, get the revenge, and then go to the national championship. That's terrible, and that's expectation, and that doesn't really do the team any good, because the team probably also thought they were better. They didn't take that loss as a loss. But this is too bad. In sports, a loss is a loss. Okay? And the last point I want to make is, in sports, especially team sports, desire is fragile. Desire doesn't mean squat. You desire a win, you desire gold pens. It doesn't mean anything. Desperation really brings out the grit. If you are desperate, you can only focus on what you have. You can only focus on what you can manage, you can control, and then you can come out on top. You could come out on top. That's exactly what Michigan did in that game, because nobody gave them a chance. And the only way they could beat the Buckeyes is the Buckeyes made mistakes. Of course, they are forced by them, and then to perform in crunch times. They literally did only one good drive, only one good series of offense, but their defense played lights out, and they grabbed the opportunity, so they won. So that's exactly what happened. So that's the thing. And Buckeyes in recent years, especially in the after all these success against the team up north, it's just you're not desperate anymore. You know you have better players and you are in better position, and now you somehow have a moral high ground. Yeah, those are fun things for fans to talk about, but it's not really good for the team's performance. So that is my take on why this happened. And it's clearly a leadership problem. And I'm not sure how, well, that's the next thing I want to talk about. How to fix this thing. The answer is very simple, and yet it's extremely difficult to achieve. And you ask any other teams, you think about Georgia, Alabama, these are good examples, and even Ole Miss. So how to fix it? And ask a Caleb Duns, okay? And I'm not going to play you the whole video, but this is the interview by Caleb Duns conducted on October 30th this year, before the Penn State game. And he literally just talked about two things. He said, football is simple. You have one assignment, just one assignment, probably more than that, but the main assignment is simple. You focus on assignment and you win one-on-one. And there's nothing more than that. This is probably the best defensive player in the country. And he's telling you about the essence of the game. And that, to my experience, is the ultimate truth. Just focus on what you do. In badminton, sometimes we are behind and we try to get, to catch up. What do? You focus on the next thing. You just focus on the serve, you focus on return serve, you focus on attacking and win the next point. Same thing for football. There's no mystery to that. But of course, for as 18, 19, 20-year-old, it's very difficult to focus on that. And also it's kind of boring. It's really kind of boring. Focus on your job and try to do that. I could go give you some game examples of why big things happen. And many times it's because somebody blew the assignment. Anyway, so this is the easy fix, but can they be fixed? It's not easy. When you manage, like Ryan Day, you manage 10 coaches and 100 players, it's not easy to make sure people do that, especially when you are emotionally involved. So that brings to the next question is, now what? Okay, first I want to talk about the whole country's reactions. It seems the country took pity on the Buckeyes, and the playoff rankings only dropped Buckeyes to number 6. Number 6 is an interesting position because after all these jugglings and stuff, Buckeyes probably wouldn't drop after 8. So they most likely would still have a home field advantage. Although at this point, I'm not sure home field is an advantage to the Buckeyes. But generally it should be. So the Buckeyes are still alive in the national championship dreams. And I have been talking about that before. I said the conference championship game may not be a good thing to participate. from the national championship picture. Because if say Penn State, you play against Oregon, you might win, you might lose. If you win, you you take 1 week off, and then you play in a neutral site. Sure, that's you know that gives you some advantage. But if you lose, you play a home game the next week, and then if you win, you continue to play. So you play one more game. So it's not necessarily very good position. But on the other hand, for college sports, for college football, longer time of wait may not always be a good thing. It disrupts your routine and it causes a lot of things. So I guess it's both sides. But to put it simply, the country didn't really punish Buckeyes for that too much. So, and now another one is Ryan Day's job security. A lot of people are coming out and say, "Oh, we got to fire Ryan Day." I'm not that kind of people. I think he has dropped the ball in big occasions more often than not. I hope he can learn from it and still grow. And I don't think anybody is just perfect come out of the gate. He is a first-time head coach. So, but that's not the only reason I have that. My real concern is even if you fire him, even if you don't care about the $37 million buyout, who are you going to replace him with? I know there are a lot of names there, Marcus Freeman, Michael Variable, and just to name a few, and even Urban Meyer. However, I'm not sure any of them are, they are all sexy names, but can they all do a better job than Ryan Day? I mean, Marcus Freeman, would he really want to come to Ohio State? Well, I guess if the money is right, maybe he would. And Urban Meyer, you want him to come back? How many years you have in him if he comes back? And would he be as good as before in this day and age? So there are so many questions there. I think I don't know. This is the simple answer. I don't know. But I would be curious to see what the school does, the management does. They, my opinion doesn't matter anyway. So, but I like Ryan Day. I think he's still a good coach. He's still a not top-notch coach. If we give him time, think about Kirby Smart at Georgia. How long did he take? Did it take him to get to the national championship? I have no doubt if we give Ryan Day time, he is going to achieve that. It probably will take a little bit longer than we expected, though. And but who knows? Maybe this year, he can still do that. I think if he does that because the team is truly capable and the coaching staff is also capable. So if they did win the national championship this year, I think he's definitely safe. If not, then it really depends. I think it really depends on what's happening behind the scenes. So we'll see what happens. And other things are like morale of the team. The next time we see the team on the field, it will be a few weeks later, and it will be a playoff game, possibly at home against the Tennessee. So how will the team bounce back from this setback? So that's what I'm really curious to see. It could go either way. It really could go either way. But I have confidence. I think the team will bounce back. After all, adversity brings character, right? Builds character, I guess. So, and the other one is recruiting. The early signing just finished. Almost. Well, it seems the recruiting is going okay. I'm not as worried about recruiting as I did before because of the transfer portal. Because in a way, you can fill your roster holes in transfer portal much easier than just recruiting promising high school kids. Of course, it's still important, but it's not like the end of the world anymore. So anyway, so that's kind of my take on this. So in summary, I know the loss sucks, but I would say everybody deserves some blame, but I don't want to blame it on any particular person or player, especially players or coaches, because, well, it's just I see them as part of the Buckeye family, and I don't really blame them. But I did mention some of the things in this video. That's to explain rather than to assign blame. And I hope, especially Ryan Day, can learn from this and grow. And I'm confident he can. And so I guess that's my take on the game. Okay. OH.